think everyone knows what raising finance is, so we don't need to explain that. But your advice on how to raise finance, where to find the angels, maybe?
Yeah, first of all, I don't look for angels, and I don't go into property groups because they all want the charges and the security and the higher interest rates. I go to what I call the mums and the dads and the aunties and uncles of people, your average people that aren't investors, that just want a guaranteed fixed rate of return and to know their capital is going to be safe. Okay. So what I'm after is, I'm not after 5 people with 100,000. Yeah. I'm after, I can't work the figures out, however many can give me 10,000, whatever the figures are.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the more you open to these people, the more that you'll start the chain off. So what I'm looking at doing is, first of all, 3 things. I'm reducing the barrier of entry. I'm making it easy for people to invest. So if it's the first time they've invested with me, they can invest for £5,000. Yeah, I don't want £100,000. And what people are doing, they're investing into my company for a fixed rate of return. They're not investing in a project. So there's no stress on me, that I've got to deliver or things can go wrong. So, the way I say to explain it to them is that the money's going into my property company because that's how I can actually guarantee that they're going to get their interest payments and the date that they're going to get their capital back. So the first thing is you reduce it to £5,000. The second thing is you give them a definite time. So you can invest with me from 6, 9, or 12 months. So now they're thinking, well, I can test you with £5,000 for 6 months. The risk is really, really low. And then the final point is I give them interest quarterly, because I want them to see activity in their account every quarter. I don't want them forgetting about me. Yeah, I want to drop them an email and just to let you know, interest payments gone in, or drop them a text. Yeah. And that's that activity. Now, the way that this actually works practically is some people will invest initially with £5,000 or £10,000 for 6 months. After 5 months, I will then drop them an email. Everything's email. Drop them an email and just say, just to let you know, I'm due to pay your capital back next month. Would you like it paying in the same account I paid the interest in? Because they've already had one interest payment for the quarter.
Yeah.
100% of the time, they'll say, can I leave the money with you? Okay. And then at that point, I say, not a problem. Would you like to increase your investment? Okay. Or you can actually say, not a problem. Would you now like to extend this opportunity to your friends, colleagues, and family? So what they'll do is they've had interest payments from you. You've offered to give them the capital back, even if they've not taken it. And now you're offering a fixed rate of return, and they trust you now, to their friends and family. Okay, so what actually starts to happen over time, it snowballs really quickly, is your investors then go out to their circle of contacts and invite them, and then their friends and family go out to their circle of contacts. So you get money coming in for more direct, small amounts to begin with, but then you get some large sums because they say, well, such and such has invested with you for 12 months now. It all seems okay, and you're paying a fixed rate interest quarterly. So this is where the big sums come from. And the way I discovered this is when I had the lettings business, and I did it with landlords. And when you offer them too high a rate of interest, or you ask for, I think we started off on 25,000, only a couple come forward. When you dropped it to 10,000, you had more people come forward. When we dropped it to 5,000, literally the barriers opened and lots of people. And I always remember we had this plumber. He had a plumbing business, and you could never get him to spend money on his property. And he invested £5,000 with us for 6 months. And after the 6 months, he came back and he said, can my company invest with you? And I said, yeah. His company put £100,000 with us. Then he said, can my mum and dad invest with you? And that came another £80,000. And then he increased. He's got over £800,000 with us now. And it all started from £5,000 for 10. And every year we pay him back after the 12 months, and then he reinvests with us, because the trust is there, but he doesn't want to look for somewhere else to put his money. He's happy with the fixed rate we give him.
Used to get.
And that's how you build your private finance network. It's not about waiting for a deal and going and getting it. You're just getting small amounts coming in at all different times, and it starts to build up quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I followed that. Just to give you an example as well, I followed what Mark said. He was the first person who ever told me about the £5,000 thing. Because before that, I'd seen newbies putting on Instagram £100,000 minimum investment, and I was like, surely People aren't going to do that, and they don't a lot of the time. They might hit lucky, but if you're relatively new, saying minimum 50 grand, a minimum 100 grand, it's a lot harder. And I did this. I put a post on Facebook, kind of following Mark's process and sort of script. It worked. You know, there was, I must admit, there was some people I wasn't comfortable taking money off, for various reasons. But there's quite a few that you know, there's still a lot of interest. Quite a few that I did business with, and they have moved up from 5 upwards. Because you're lowering the barrier of entry. And yes, you can't do much with one lot of 5 grand, but you know, you're not just going to take one person's 5 grand. You can't do much of that. You're going to get obviously a lot of people doing it, which equates to
you can be more, you can guarantee that at the end of that term that figure will increase, but it's when they start talking to their friends and family, that's when it snowballs. Because I can't remember, I think it was when I used to do network marketing, what they used to teach you was it's not the person you speak to, it's the people that they know where network. The real comes from. And that's what you find. If you could actually draw this out, you'd see that most of the private investment comes from people that they knew that you would never have contacted if it hadn't been through this person.